Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim with today's bulletin, but first the major headlines. The state government revokes license of 500 private schools. Governor Zulum approves 10 million naira for ex-servicemen and fallen heroes' families. Fighter jet bomb bandits in 17 Kaduna locations. On business, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission rejects 50% increase claim in electricity tariffs. On sports, fears grips Eagle Stars amid double coronavirus cases. And on the international scene, no sustainable development possible without adequate infrastructure, says President Muhammadu Buhari as he meets China's state councillor. Now the news in details. The state government has revoked the operational licenses of more than 500 private schools over their inability to meet required operational guidelines. Commissioner for Education in the state, Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullahi, told newsmen on Tuesday in Gusau that a task force which will ensure compliance with the closure order will soon be inaugurated. He said the schools could operate if they met comprehensive guidelines recently developed by the government. The commissioner said the guidelines will have to be followed and be met by any private school proprietor before the issuance of a license to operate. He said Governor Bello Matawalli met a poorly arranged setting on the operations of private schools where proprietors only needed to pay a start-up registration fee of 30,000 naira, after which the state government lost powers to control such schools. Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullahi said at the moment they have a draft bill which will be forwarded to the State House of Assembly that will empower the State Ministry of Education to have control over the way the private schools are set up and operated. The commissioner said the ministry's unit that oversees the operations of private schools had been upgraded into a department for efficiency. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Adamu, has given 56 newly approved private institutions license to operate. The institutions consist of 20 private polytechnics, 4 colleges of health science and technology, and 32 innovation enterprise institutions. Zamfara state government has embarked on possible preparation towards constructing more correctional centers in the state as its response to the request for decongesting the existing correctional centers and providing conducive atmosphere for the living of teeming inmates. This was declared by the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Yahya Chadu, while receiving the State Controller of the Correctional Centers, Alhaji Suleiman Isyaku, who paid a courtesy visit alongside his management team. The commissioner said Governor Bello Matawalli-led administration was always committed to ensure good living for the teeming inmates across the existing correctional centers of the state under a healthy environment, as that will help to vividly achieve the desired goals. For more details on the story, over to our correspondent, Sumaya Dusara.
Alhaji Chado stated that congestion and untidy environments could not serve to achieve all correctional measures taken on the inmates, but rather promote order unlawful amongst them instead. The situation which may shape them worse against the society after serving their jail terms. According to him, part of the state government commitment being witnessed towards making correctional centers safer for purposes was the recent grant of total prerogative of mercy by Governor Matawalli on the 2,000 convicted bandits at Gusau Correctional Center. He explained that the development was aimed at serving dual purposes for the policy to achieve the congestion of the correctional centers and to consolidate the success achieved on the peace reconciliation between the outward Ensake and the bandits. He further disclosed that the 5 additional correctional centers will be constructed at Maru, Karanamoda, Talata Mafara, Gumi and Gusau local government areas of the state. On his part, the Zamfara State Controller Correctional Centers, Alhaji Suleiman Isiaka, commended the state government's plan for the construction of 5 more correctional centers, adding that the development will help prevent transmission of diseases as there would be enough space to observe social distancing. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SVTV News, Gusau.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has approved the immediate release of 10 million naira to retired members of the Nigerian Armed Forces and families of fallen heroes in the state. The governor gave the directive on Monday in Maiduguri, shortly after he was decorated with the ceremonial Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem at the council chambers of the government house in Maiduguri. The chairman of the Nigerian Legion in Borno State, retired Colonel William Mamza, decorated the governor as he led officials and heads of military, the police, the DSS and paramilitary agencies to traditionally launch the annual emblem, which goes with mobilization of support for ex-servicemen and families of fallen heroes. For more details on this story, over now to our correspondent, Peter Phillips.
A statement signed by the media aide to the governor, Issa Gusau, said, granting a request by the Legion, Governor Zulum directed the Ministry of Agriculture to liaise with its officials to identify specific areas the government can support the ex-servicemen's desire to reactivate a farmland allocated to them in the 1940s. Whereas the officials had only requested the allocation of one tractor, the governor, a professor of irrigation agriculture, promised to go far beyond their demands, especially since it was on agriculture, an area he is obviously passionate about. The governor charged officials of the Legion to ensure commitment to agricultural activities after getting support from the government. The statement said, Governor Zulum also appealed to the officials to use the funds generated through the ceremonial emblem launched in such a way that the neediest families, particularly of fallen heroes, are supported through various means. According to their website, the Nigerian Legion, a statutory body established since 1964, is an association of persons who have served in the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force or any auxiliary force. The Legion was established to cater for the welfare of ex-servicemen who have distinguished themselves in local and international wars and for support of families, those deceased. The Nigerian Legion is a member of the International World War Veteran Organization, striving for world peace. Peter Phillips, reporting for SVTV News, Gusau.
The Kano State government has paid over 5 billion naira on foreign scholarship students inherited from the previous administration from 2015 to 2021, as well as instituted investigation into the scheme. Executive Chairman, Kano State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission, Barrister Magaji Rimingadu, announced this on Tuesday at a news conference while briefing journalists on the position of foreign scholarship scheme in the state. Barrister Muhi Magaji Rimingadu said Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganjuji has directed the Commission to take over the foreign scholarship scheme with a view to unravel the alleged fraudulent activities bedeviling the program, the hardship facing many of the students orchestrated by some of those previously handling the scheme. Also, the Commission's intervention is to reveal the involvement of consultants used as intermediaries that makes the program easy for manipulation and no standard mode of financing the program at the initial stage. The Nigerian police on Tuesday deployed 1,250 special constabulary police toward boosting community policing in Lagos State Command. Speaking during the passing out ceremony in Ikeja, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu urged the officers to operate within the guidelines that had been given to them. The governor, represented by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Tayo Ayinde, said the constabulary police had been recruited to perform a very important job of improving on the existing security architecture and making it more effective. He said their major responsibility was to support the operations of the command through credible and timely intelligence on activities within the community. For more details on this story, Fawzia Ibrahim reports.
According to him, these activities may result in perpetration of crime and threats to the safety of lives and properties, hence the need to tame them. The issues of security and safety of lives and properties have been a major source of concern, which requires deliberate and urgent attention by the government and the cooperation of citizens. He stressed that to address this challenge, there is a national consensus on the need to embrace community policing identified as a potent strategy that will complement the effort of the Nigerian police in combating crime. Mr. Tayo Ayinde said major progress has been made towards making this initiative a reality. The passing out parade of 1,250 special constabulary officers who have undergone training speciality designed to equip them with the skills required for the job is an indication of the commitment of the federal government in this initiative. He said the officers' welfare should be accorded priority and everything needed to carry out their assignment most efficiently and effectively will be provided. The governor also appealed to all Lagosians, especially community leaders and associations, to support this initiative by cooperating with these officers. Fauzia Ibrahim, reporting for SVTV.
Gunmen have killed the former education secretary of Nasarawa local government area of the state, Malami Salihu, and kidnapped 20 people who were traveling to Toto local government area of the state. The incident took place Tuesday afternoon along Mungi Shab Kona Bugagwari, Gadabuke area of Toto local government area. The 20 kidnapped victims were traveling in 3 vehicles and were intercepted by gunmen who marched them into the bush. Late Salihu was among those kidnapped, but his lifeless body was later found in the bush near the road. The secretary of Gadabuke Emirate Council, Abdullah Baba, who confirmed the incident to newsmen, said gunmen in their numbers came out from the bush and attacked the vehicles fleeing the road and marched the passengers into the bush to an unknown destination. He said the kidnappers have not made any contact to any of the relatives of the victims. Security operatives have killed bandits in 17 locations in Birnin Gwari, Giwa, Igabi and Chukun local government areas of Kaduna State. Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Mr. Samuel Arwan, said in a statement that the operation was carried out on Monday at Albasu, Rahama, Sabon Birni, Rikau, Fadama Kanauta, Galadimawa, Kaya, Kidandan, Yadi, Dogon Dawa, Ingede Allah, Damari, Saulawa, Takama, Kuduru, Unguwar Yaku and Kaduna Birnin Gwari Road area. He added that troops under the auspices of Operation Thunder Strike have briefed Kaduna State Government on joint land and air operations conducted at identified bandit locations across Birnin Gwari, Giwa, Igabi and Chukun local government areas of the state. For more details on the story, over on to our correspondent, Peter Phillips.
According to the operational feedback, Nigerian Air Force platforms conducted armed reconnaissance on Monday over Albasu, Rahama, Sabon Birni, Rikau, Fadama Kanauta, Galadimawa, Kaya, Gidandan, Yadi, Dogon Dawa, Ngeden Allah, Damari, Saulawa, Takama, Kuduru, Ogonyako, and Kaduna Birnin Gwari Road area. Bandits were sighted by the fighter jet crew at Yadi, and the location was engaged with several bandits neutralized. Also, along the track connecting Kuduru and Ogonyako, bandits were sighted with rustled cattle and were neutralized also. Other locations covered appeared calm with normal activities as ground troops conducted clearance operations in Sabon Birni and Dogon Dawa. Governor Nasir El-Rufai expressed satisfaction at the successes of the ongoing operations and commended the armed forces for sustaining the offensives on identified bandit enclaves obtained via credible intelligence. The governor encouraged citizens to cooperate with the security forces by volunteering information on suspicious activities and hideouts for defensive action towards vanquishing the criminals. The state government condoles with the families that lost their loved ones on the Kaduna Birnin Gwari Road and prays for the repose of their souls while wishing a speedy recovery to those receiving medical attention. That's the reports. Peter Phillips reporting for SVTV News, Gusau.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has opened its portal for institutions to upload names of shortlisted applicants for the 2020/2021 admission. The board said all admission processes must go through the Central Administration Processing System for approval. It noted that only qualified candidates as recommended by their institutions for admission will be approved by the board. Registrar of JAMB, Professor Isaac Oloyede, said this in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. He also said most institutions, particularly private, had commenced administration. The registrar, however, added that public universities were yet to fully kick-start the process, partly because they are yet to conclude admissions for the last year. Professor Oleyede reiterated that the admission is not just for universities but also for polytechnics and college of education, and except for the closure because of COVID-19, they are not affected by the strike. The registrar also said a date has not been fixed for the sale of this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination forms. The Speaker of State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Nasiru Ma'azu Magaria, received with shock the sudden demise of an elder statesman and a chieftain of the ruling party in the state, late Alhaji Dahiru Sabon Birni Dan Ali. While mourning his death, Speaker Magaria described the deceased as a humble gentleman who devoted his life in serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and humanity, saying he will ever be remembered, and prayed Allah to repose his gentle soul and grant him Jannatul Firdaus. Speaker Nasiru Magaria, on behalf of himself, his family, and the entire members, management, and staff of the State House of Assembly, condoled with the family of late Alhaji Dahiru Sabon Birni Dan Ali, particularly a serving member of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Nura Dahiru Sabon Birni Dan Ali, representing Birnin Magaji constituency in the State House of Assembly. Until his death, late Alhaji Dahiru Sabon Birni Dan Ali was a chairman, People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Birnin Magaji local government area before his recent elevation to the status of a member working committee of the PDP in the state. The deceased has since been buried in his hometown, Sabon Birni Dan Ali, in Birnin Magaji local government area, according to Islamic injunction. Similarly, Governor Atiku Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State was in Dakengari on Tuesday to condole with the family of late Dr. Abubakar Bawa Dakengari, who died on Monday following a protracted illness at the Usman Danfodio Teaching Hospital, Sokoto. The governor was received at the family home of the deceased by the former Kebbi State Governor, Alhaji Sa'idu Nasamu Dakengari. The chairman of Dandi and Bagudu local government areas, Alhaji Garba Salihu Dila, and Alhaji Muhammad Kaura Dan Hakimi, the family members and other relatives of the deceased. Governor Bagudu prayed Allah to forgive late Dr. Abubakar Bawa Dakengari and grant him eternal rest in Jannatul Firdaus, and the family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. The late medical doctor died at the age of 45 and is survived by a wife and a child. Until his death, Dr. Dakengari was in charge of Kebbi Vesicovaginal Fistula Center, where he had successfully performed surgical operations on many women who suffered from VVF within and outside the state at the center. Meanwhile, the 3-day Firdaus prayer for the late nephew of Senator Aliyu Magatakarda Wamoko, Dr. Bello Magatakarda Wamoko, was held on Tuesday at Wamoko Town, headquarters of Wamoko local government area of Sokoto State. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business updates.
The attention of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has been drawn to publications in the print of electronic media misinforming electricity consumers that the Commission has provided a 50% increase in electricity tariff. The Commission hereby states unequivocally that no approval has been granted for a 50% tariff increase on the tariff order for electricity distribution companies, which took effect on January 1, 2021. On the contrary, the tariff for consumers on service band E and D customers being served less than an average of 12 hours of supply per day over a period of 1 month remains frozen and unsubsidized in line with the policy directed by the federal government. In compliance with the provision of the EPSI Act and the nation's tariff methodology for biannual minor review, the rates for service band A, B, C, D, and E have been adjusted by 2 naira to 4 naira per kilowatt to reflect the partial impact of inflation and movements in forex. In the light of strong public interest on the matter, the media is hereby requested to retract their earlier publications misinforming electricity consumers nationwide about the purported 50% increase in electricity tariffs. The Commission remains committed to protecting the electricity consumers from failure to deliver on committed service levels under the service-based tariff regime. Any consumer that has been impacted by any rate increase beyond the provision of the tariff order should report to the Commission at customer.complaints@nerc.government.ng. And that's all on the business update. I'm Fawzia Ibrahim. Do have a nice day.
Thank you, Fawzia. On sports, over to Abu Sofia and Abubakar.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. I am Abu Sofia and Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. Super Eagles stars in the English Premier League have been caught up in a major coronavirus scare after the league confirmed a record number of positive COVID-19 tests over the course of the last 2 rounds of testings. In total, 40 positive results were returned, more than double the 18 recorded during the previous week. 2 rounds of coronavirus testing on players and staff between 28 December last year and 3rd of January this year revealed 40 new cases. There were 28 new cases reportedly found in 1,311 tests administered between 28 December and 31st December, with a further 12 new cases from 984 tests between 1st January and 3rd January. Ola Aina playing for Fulham, Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho both playing for Leicester, Alex Iwobi of Everton and Shemi Ajayi of West Brom Albion all played their trades in English top tier and will now have to be extra vigilant in order to avoid the virus. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
And on the international scene, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has said that sustainable development is impossible when a country is humbled by severe infrastructural deficits. The president spoke on Tuesday at State House Abuja while receiving in audience Mr. Wang Yi, the State Councillor and Foreign Minister, People's Republic of China. President Buhari thanked China for its support to Nigeria in various ways in building of rail, road, power, defense, and many others. The president said China has helped Nigeria to reduce its severe infrastructural deficit, adding that there cannot be sustainable development without infrastructural development. He pledged that Nigeria will continue to honor its obligations in the relationship with the People's Republic of China. On his part, Mr. Wang Yi applauded the mutual trust and sound personal friendship between President Buhari and President Xi Jinping of China, noting that it has guided the bilateral relationship between the two countries. He added that China loves to begin the year's diplomatic work from Africa, and Nigeria was chosen as the first port of call in 2021, since the year marks the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The State Councillor described Nigeria as a country with great regional and international influence, adding that they trust, understand, support, and will continue to value each other. Mr. Yi said his country will encourage Chinese companies to increase their investment in Nigeria, while China will also readily share experience and techniques in areas like digital economy, defense, and many others with Nigeria. Still on the international scene, the head of World Health Organization, Chief Tedros Adhanom, is disappointed that Chinese officials have not finalized permission for the arrival of a team of experts into China to examine the origins of COVID-19. The WHO head, in a rare critic of Beijing, said members of the international scientific team have begun over the last 24 hours to leave their home countries to head to China as part of an arrangement between the WHO and the Chinese government. He said they have learned that Chinese officials have not yet finalized the necessary permissions for the team's arrival in China. Mr. Tedros said he is very disappointed with the news, given that 2 members had already begun their journeys and others were not able to travel at the last minute, but had been in contact with senior Chinese officials. He said he had made it clear that the mission was priority for the UN Health Agency and had been assured that China is speeding up the internal procedures for the earliest possible deployment. The expert drone from around the world are expected to visit the city of Wuhan, which is suspected as the place where the coronavirus first emerged over a year ago. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara state government has revoked license of 500 private schools. Governor Zulum approves 10 million naira for ex-servicemen and fallen heroes families in the state. Fighter jets bomb bandits in 17 Kaduna locations. On business, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission rejects 50% increase claim in electricity tariffs. On sports, fear grips Eagle Stars amid double coronavirus cases. And on the international scene, no sustainable development possible without adequate infrastructure, says President Muhammadu Buhari as he meets China's state councillor. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatuna, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Press Television News. Goodbye.